Well, hello everyone, and a very warm welcome from the Heroku team today. I am Jennifer Bertwein. I'm the GTM lead for EMEA Central here. I'm dialing in from Berlin today, and it's really fantastic to see so many of you joining us today from across different countries. Pop in your country where you're from in the Slack, in the channel here in the chat. Um, Today we are here because we are all probably focused on what is arguably one of the biggest opportunities and challenges of our times, artificial intelligence, right? And the strategic ambition of the region is undeniable, but if we look at the numbers, we see that in Germany itself, 91% of companies see that AI is critical to their future. In Switzerland, if we look at the numbers there, then we see that there are firms that actually 77% already using AI in some sort of capacity. But then also the AI market is growing and growing over years, a 38% growth annually. That's quite a big number. But despite all that ambition and the knowledge that we need to have, there's a growing tension across our region in particular, where we are facing, and I call it the AI paradox, ambition, but execution is lagging behind. So, for example, in Germany, overall, the AI adoption rate is falling behind, and the AI momentum is rather low compared to the global average. And so, this gap of knowing what we must do, but then actually executing, this is something we want to look into today. And to get out of this, I call it wait and see mode that is holding us back. We don't think it is actually lack of vision, but it's more that there are barriers, and some barriers are also specific to this region. If we break it down to three core challenges, I think the first one is talent, in-house expertise building up. We have 45% of business from across that DACH region that say that they struggle to find the specialized skills. Second, we have complexity. So complexity of building the tools, integrating AI that presents some difficulty, especially if you're an enterprise. And then thirdly, the uncertainty that has to do also with regulatory landscape. Thinking about the EU AI Act that is coming up, where companies feel left alone. But these challenges, skill, system complexity, and regulatory hurdles, these are friction points that there are ways to overcome this. And this is a critical question we're going to address today. So if we flip to the next slide, I'm very happy that for these questions and topics, we actually have us joined today by Heroku's Chief Marketing Officer, Betty Younon, and Julian Duquier, who's our Heroku Developer Relationships team or advocate in the relationships team. And with that, let me start by saying thank you. Thank you for being with us today. We really value the time. Before we dive in, just a quick note on the format. We intentionally designed this as an interactive session, so we don't want to have a just one-way webinar. So if you feel comfortable, feel free to turn on your cameras. We love to hear from you later in our discussion that we have planned if you feel comfortable. And with that, just a final reminder, Salesforce is a publicly traded company. So you should base your purchasing decision on the products that are currently available, just as a side note. And with that, I would love to welcome Betty, who will share with us on how a platform for rapid development, AI development, is actually helping millions of teams to overcome these challenges for many years now, and with AI even more. And then we have Julian giving us a demonstration on how to build an application, AI application, and bring an idea into production in a very short amount of time. Betty.
Great. Thank you, Jennifer. And again, thank you everyone for joining. So I'm Betty Trinod, CMO of Heroku, and I have been in the developer tools and platform space for a number of years. And what we're seeing right now is it's interesting because we're at another phase of explosion of new tools, a new technology wave, but also some of the same principles that we've been kind of chasing for a while still remain. And so if we go to the next slide, I can talk about this a little bit more. And when we talk to your peers in industry and all around the world, what we hear is that organizations are just fundamentally overwhelmed. Your companies already have probably a pretty massive IT portfolio, different software solutions, SaaS, on-prem, what have you, lots of tools and technologies. And then now AI has added to that mix across every layer of the stack, across every stage of the journey. There's now more tools, more technologies, and you have lots of data silos. Somehow all of that needs to come together. And what this does is it also creates an increasing observability and trust gap. How do you make all these things work together? How do your employees take advantage of them? There is fundamental fatigue also from employees on if I need 10 plus tools and they're all disconnected and they all are on different data silos, how do I use them? How do I use them in a way that's efficient to do my job? Meanwhile, our customers, you as customers of Salesforce demanding on us and your customers demanding on you, customers fundamentally expect more, regardless of the state of our own IT complexity. Our customers want hyper personalization. They want us to know, what they're experiencing with our technologies, and provide an integrated experience. As an example, what you experience on a website to the mobile app, and then carrying that through likely to a store in those types of circumstances. And customers expect that to be real time. In this hyper real time, I can get access to anything at any minute. Having a super personalized experience that's available right now, and having an experience that's always on is critical. Having a customer halfway around the world means your customer still expects to be provided service in their local time. All of these are really big constraints. And then when we think about the developers, the people who are building these experiences, they're bringing these systems together, building new experiences or building new functionality into existing experiences. What we have seen from the data is that the average is that they're only spending about 16% of their time actually coding, building, the time that's spent building. Our partner, AWS, has even published articles about how, on average, their developers, engineers, spend only about an hour of their workday coding. And that's pretty shocking when you think about that. And if you go to the next slide, really the challenge is that it's not the coding part. It's everything else that takes up all their time. All the context switching, all the manual steps, so many tools and gates and things to get through, and that makes a secure app delivery increasingly difficult. It's a challenge. Many of these challenges they've been challenges for a while, and it's an area that Heroku has been solving for a number of years. Now, add to this the boom with AI. What's interesting here is there's been a lot of buzz around these AI and agentic code generation tools, which are fantastic, which are actually really great for experienced developers. They help them be much more productive in getting their ideas prototyped. For people who are not developers, not engineers, it actually gives them the power to draft up an application just by describing the experience that they want. Now, that really makes step 1 and 2 really easy for a whole lot more people, but that doesn't fundamentally solve getting that application to production. Production in a secure and scalable way that can then serve customer traffic. So some parts of AI are only just exacerbating this problem and putting exponentially more apps into an already constrained queue. So if you go to the next slide, what we're aiming to do at Heroku, our AI paths, is to simplify and automate away the complexity while providing an easy experience for your teams to take advantage of the powerful capabilities that are available, but doing it in a way that is controlled, managed, and secure. So as a platform as a service, what we do is take all of those components, the hundreds of different services that you need to select from, integrate, secure, manage together, and then provide a developer experience in which your teams can then consume to build. We take care of that for you so that your team focuses on delivering the value on top, which is the application. So our focus here is around simplifying and automating away the complexities of the infrastructure, and then helping you focus on time to value. And this, in the next slide, you'll see that this AI PaaS is part of a robust agentic enterprise platform here at Salesforce. And what we do is help extend the flexibility and capabilities of the Customer 360 applications with more pro code by bringing the flexibility of a wide range of popular programming languages and frameworks and our elastic compute to be able to complement what these SaaS applications and platforms can do. So what kind of capabilities does this power? If you look at the next slide, you will see that what we do is we enable you to focus on building unique business value in 3 key areas. First is building new or modernizing your existing applications. A lot of custom applications are really about the unique way that you want to either service your customers or run your business. Here we are focusing here on enabling the developer productivity and their creativity, removing the cognitive load of all of the other things in the process, things that they might not be experts in, like SecOps, network ops, infrastructure, and helping them accelerate the time to value of that application. Next is maximizing your Salesforce cloud investment. As we talked about, Heroku as part of the Salesforce portfolio, we bring more pro code and elastic compute in a secure, integrated fashion with your favorite cloud. That could be Sales Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Data Cloud, Agentforce. Using that together, you get great out-of-the-box capabilities to get you up and running with those solutions, and you can complement that with endless flexibility to customize those solutions to your business and build more unique use cases. And lastly is to embrace AI with intelligent agent actions and services. As I mentioned, we have Agentforce here at Salesforce. The way that Heroku complements Agentforce is also to be able to extend and customize that to your business needs. Allow your developers to work with an agent that's tied to your customer data, but also to extend that agent with things like MCP servers and to other custom services and to the broader ecosystem securely through Heroku. And what does that result in? If we look at the next slide, you can see some of the results that we deliver for our customers. We're really focusing on helping you grow your business by enabling that developer productivity so that they have more time to build the things that drive your business, but doing so in a way that is continually optimizing your operational expenses so that it's sustainable growth and that you have meaningful ROI from your investments. And the last slide I'm going to end on here is we're extremely proud that the work that we've been done is being recognized in the market. Gartner has had, it's been 2 years running of the Magic Quadrant for Cloud Native Application Platforms, and Heroku is proud to be named a leader. And this year, what they've done is expanded the definition of cloud native application platforms to include AI and agentic capabilities, because those are, AI apps are also apps, and agents are also software. So thinking about how can platforms address a wide range of application types and services and workloads. So really excited here and looking forward to talking to you more about this throughout the session today. So now I'm going to hand it over to Julian so he can show you all of this in action.
Of course, thank you very much, Betty, and hello you all. Thank you for joining us on this session. We are going to get a little bit more technical right now. I want to show you 2 demos by using AI-assisted tools to build applications and then rely on the different AI services that Heroku has to be able to have this application from an idea to production just directly from the IDE, from the tool where all of us developers pretty much remain all the time while we are writing code. So what makes Heroku AI? What are our different AI services that we can use to build these applications and extend the capabilities? We have managed inference and agents. This is a way we can easily provision AI models to our applications. And these models are hosted on our Heroku infrastructure, so you don't risk having data leaks or sharing your private information with third parties. Everything is going to remain within the trust boundary on Heroku. And you can easily provision models like Cloud 4 from Anthropic, GPT, OSS from OpenAI, Nova Lite and Nova Pro from Amazon. So you have like a wide variety of different models to build your applications. We also have support for the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, which it's a universal connector for AI applications. It will extend agents to be able to increase their context and also execute tools. So with the MCP solutions we have, there are like two specific that I want to highlight. One is the Heroku MCP server, which you can use to let these AI code assistants to manipulate Heroku resources. They will be able to deploy an application, scale an application, provision add-ons, analyze logs, and we are going to see in these two demos how I am relying on the Heroku MCP server to perform these operations. But also you can build your own custom MCPs or use MCPs that are already within the ecosystem, so you can extend your own agents and host those MCPs on Heroku. So we have those two features. And the other one is through the MCP toolkit, where you can deploy these MCPs to Heroku and extend your agents with it. And also with Heroku Postgres, we also have capabilities for a vector database. And this is used in AI applications to build retrieval augmented generation pipelines, pretty much storing data as vectors on a database so you can perform similarity searches and extend the context of your AI applications. So let's go and take a look at the two demos I have. The first one, I am using a Cursor, which is an IDE that uses AI assistants to write an application. This application is an API that extends Salesforce and Agentforce through our Heroku AppLink integration with Salesforce. Pretty much, I am giving one prompt, one specification, and I will let the IDE to do everything on their own. So let's play this demo, and then after it, I'm going to show you another one. Let's build a Heroku application to generate a custom PDF quote from a Salesforce opportunity and integrate it with Agentforce. We begin with a prompt in Cursor that includes basic instructions on how we want the service implemented. And then we let Cursor handle the implementation. To securely integrate with Salesforce, we will use the Heroku AppLink SDK for Node.js. This will enable our application to query the opportunity information from Salesforce and attach the generated PDF back to the opportunity. To import this application into Salesforce, we need to generate an OpenAPI specification. To deploy to Heroku, we rely on the Heroku MCP server, which allows the Cursor agent to automatically create and deploy the Heroku application. Cursor also sets up our Heroku application to use AppLink, the Heroku product that enables seamless integration between Salesforce and Heroku. Once everything is set up, we proceed to deploy to Heroku.
After the deployment succeeds, we then connect our Heroku application with our Salesforce org. Before setting up everything on Agentforce, we import the OpenAPI specification into Salesforce. Now we can see the Heroku application registered as an external service in Salesforce. We can call our Heroku app from Apex, Flow, and Agentforce. Let's create a new Agentforce action, selecting the action type as API and the category as Heroku. Here we can see all the Heroku services available in our org. With this new action, let's go to the Agentforce Builder to create a new topic to generate PDF quotes for opportunities and select the newly created Agentforce action. And that's it. Now we can go to our opportunity record page and use our new agent to generate a PDF quote, thanks to Heroku and Agentforce.
So that's how you can use an AI assistant powered by the Heroku tools to integrate easily with Agentforce. So on this first demo, we just created a service and used that service directly on Agentforce with just one prompt. I want to show you another example, and this is a application that I just built yesterday, preparing it for this session, where now I am changing things a little bit. I wanted a e-commerce site deployed to Heroku for a custom watch company, and I wanted to also create this application with an AI assistant, an AI chat that can help me um, get the watch I want depending of my customization options. And also, I wanted to rely on Heroku AI services to generate the images of those watches. This is an example how also you can rely on the Heroku AI services to build smart applications. So let's go and take a look at this demo. And this one, I didn't record a voiceover, so I'm going to be telling you what's going on. So I start from a prompt. I tell the AI assistant what I want to build. I want to build a landing page for an e-commerce website. I am going to specify the type of style that I want for this page. I want this page to be elegant, to use golden, black, and silver colors with metallic effects. And I also specifying that I want this application to have an AI assistant that will use the Heroku AI services. So the AI assistant is going to build this application using the Cloud4 Sonnet model. It's going to create all of the React JS application right now, but also thanks to the Heroku MCP server that I have enabled on my tool, it will create the application on Heroku, provision the application with the Heroku AI services, and deploy the application to Heroku. And there is something that I want to show you here. On my first prompt, when I deployed to Heroku, the application failed. And when I opened the application on the Heroku dashboard, I saw it was an error. So what do you do usually when you have an error on Heroku? You go and take a look at the logs. So instead of me going directly to the dashboard or to the CLI to take a look at the logs, I ask the assistant, go ahead, check the logs and fix the issue. So this is a great feature that the Heroku MCP server allows you, is to also diagnose and troubleshoot your application. And not only fix deployment errors, it can also let you understand scalability issues. You can ask it to take a look at the logs and see if your application is properly provisioned, if it needs more dynos, if it needs a larger dyno, and automatically will scale that application. So now in this step, I am deploying to Heroku. We see that Cursor finalized the implementation, and I happy go and take a look, and there is an error. So I will ask the assistant, please check the logs and fix the error. So after checking the logs, it understands that it was a build error on TypeScript, immediately fixes that error and triggers another redeploy. Later, you are going to see in the demo that I had another error, another implementation error. And this is usually what you do on the development process. You try it out, something fails, you fix it, and then you are ready to deploy. But here I'm asking the assistant to check those implementation errors on my development environment on Heroku. So the second error that I experienced here was with the AI assistant. I am using the Heroku AI services to build a chat on my application. And when I tried to use that chat, it failed. I didn't get that result. So then I came back to Cursor and I asked it, please check the error and fix it. So again, it relied on the Heroku MCP, check the logs, figure out what was the error, and fix it. And I also, since in the first iteration, you are going to see that the watches that are on the landing page, it rendered just using kind of like drawings, but I wanted more closer to reality pictures. So you see like the three watches are just circles. So in the second iteration, I ask the assistant, please use Heroku AI with the stable diffuse model that we have to generate realistic looking watches that I can use on my landing page. So this is an iterative process. And you see that also this application can use our own AI services to improve itself. So to show you the final result, let me share my screen right now. And I will show you the final application after this last iteration and the Heroku AI services on the Heroku dashboard. So let me share here. Let me move this over here. And perfect. So this is the final site that it was deployed to Heroku. Here we can see that now we have different watches. These are AI generated by the models we support with the stable diffusion model. And the AI assistant here, I want a classic watch. And this is going to reply using our AI services. So the code tool was able to also rely on our AI services to build this application. So how does this looks like on the Heroku dashboard? This is the precise web application. Here we can see that we have provisioned the two different models, Cloud4 Sonnet for the text-to-text inference, and a Stable Image Ultra for that image generation. And you can also tweak the AI, make sure that everything is working on one of our most recent launches, which is the AI Studio. To access the AI Studio, you go to Heroku Manage Inference and Agents add-on. You click on Open Playground, and here you have access to an application where you can test the AI model. And one good thing about this is that it also lets you test the different agent capabilities that we support. Here, if I open the tools, we have the different agents or tools that are maintained and hosted on Heroku. And one powerful feature that this agent has is it will let you access your database and perform safe queries without exposing your credentials. But it also lets you generate and execute code on Heroku. Let's say I want to execute and generate Python code. I will select the code execution Python tool, and I will say, generate and execute a Python program that says, hello, Swiss friends in ASCII. So now this is going to generate code, boot up a dyno on Heroku that knows how to execute this Python code and give me the result. So you can safely generate and execute code on the fly on the Heroku platform in the languages we support. So here we see that the code execution in Python was completed. And there we can take a look at the output. It is not rendering properly, but definitely that's the ASCII result. And that's how can you build applications using Heroku AI, deploy to Heroku using the Heroku MCP server, and test the AI capabilities using the Heroku AI Studio. And that's what I had to show. Back to you, Jennifer.
Thanks, Julian. And if you would like to share your slides once more, that we have it on full screen. I want to briefly talk about some of the customer references. Of course, we have customers that are only using Salesforce, that are only using Heroku, and customers that are using Salesforce and Heroku. But I like to start by giving examples on how Heroku is actually having a big impact into the Salesforce ecosystem. Andy, so do you want me to share the screen?
Just 1 second. I
No
thought.
worries. Just the numbers visualize it probably better. So we have 11,000 services that are built on Heroku inside Salesforce itself. So we are not just talking about the platform, we are actually talking about Heroku being the force multiplier for Salesforce productivity, for Salesforce innovation. And if you look at this success stories here, TaskUp, for example, has generated 2 million in licenses return, and that helped the teams to manage projects much more efficiently in Slack. And then we have the approvals app that has saved over 3,310 years in waiting time. And that's just the productivity gains you get from applications you can build on Heroku. And then we have Agentforce delivering 70K hours of engineering volume. And even Trailhead got a 10% increase of batch output. Trailhead built on Heroku. And these are just numbers that represent how we solve real problems at a high scale inside Salesforce. Now, if you look at the other side, and as mentioned before, Andy, if you want to go to the next one, we have customers that are using only Heroku, but here we wanted to show you how Heroku plus Salesforce actually work together being the force multiplier, the past force multiplier, when integrating and using the full technology stack that Salesforce has. So it's whether you're building custom actions on Agentforce, the demo that Julian was showing earlier, or driving Slack integrations, building Slack apps on Heroku, or connecting via MuleSoft, an API-driven architecture on Heroku, or leveraging Data Cloud for real-time personalization, or even modernizing and extending the Salesforce clouds. So Heroku can provide this foundation. And if we look at the numbers, and here are 5 logos of our customers, I think the results speak for themselves. We have one of our customer or data has achieved a 50% year-over-year return on growth with Agentforce. Watch Duty actually handles 10,000 requests per second with 0 downtime, and they are leveraging Heroku and Slack. Goose had reduced the quote generation by 80% thanks to Heroku and MuleSoft. And then a Swiss customer, the World Economic Forum, who has been a Heroku customer for a long time, they achieved a 75% resolution rate. And then the last one, Hero FinCorp, has actually cut their loan turnaround by 80%. And you can imagine what big of an impact that had to their business. So this is the power of Heroku, really transforming how enterprises build, deploy, and then scale applications, portals, microservices, while at the same time really delivering the business outcomes with Salesforce. We are also happy to get you in touch with these customers if you like to talk with them directly. So this is also an option we have here. So it's really about for our customers solving the problems and driving the innovation with Heroku back and now in the agentic world, how we call it as well. And with that, as mentioned before, we like to really open also the discussion and make it a bit more interactive now. If we talk about, if we go more into the Q&A discussion. And we like to kick that off with a quick poll that we're going to launch momentarily. So let me pull that up. Actually, if you look at the question, what are your thoughts on using AI as a coding assistant? And actually, what AI technologies are you using most? If you want to click on the poll, would be very interesting to hear from you, to see from you what you are using. So you should be able to access the poll. What AI technologies are you currently using most? Is it LLMs like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini? Is it maybe AI coding assistants like GitHub Copilot, Cursor, Cody, or etc.? Is it maybe general purpose AI agents like AutoGPT, Baby AGI, CoreAI, LangChain agents? Is it an agentic platform, like Agentforce, AgentGPT? Or maybe do you use MCP, A2A, multi-agent coordination platforms, or are there maybe other tools which we haven't thought of yet that you are using? So I already see a couple of answers in there, so feel free to, I will count down by 3, 2, 1, and then we can end the poll and look at the results. So what we see, can you see the screen? So we have, the winner is definitely the LLMs right now. So we have 50% that do use ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. Then we have 17% that are using code assistants. And we have 33% that are using more agentic platforms like Agentforce. So what are your experiences with these tools? Maybe if you want to come off mute or, yeah, share your feedback.
I've just asked everyone to come off mute. So yeah, we've got a few folks who've come off of mute. What do you all think? What has been your experience so far, and what questions do you have?
I try to play the icebreaker. This is Marcus from Switzerland. I'm working for Interdiscount near Bern. We are using MuleSoft platform. I'm responsible for the MuleSoft platform, and we are using also Salesforce Marketing Cloud, Salesforce Service Cloud. At the beginning of this year, we implemented with Agentforce a first use case, and it was quite a challenge to get all this running. One question would be from my side that I was not sure about if Heroku also supports deployment of APIs on MuleSoft platform or just on for coding for Salesforce. And the second question would be that we are working in the SAFe, we are using SAFe concept. And 25% of the time, I can decide myself as product owner, I can decide myself for which we use the time we have in each product increment. And one point we always struggle is when we have innovative ideas, what we could do, we always struggle with getting the needed licenses, because then I have to ask my superior, I cannot ask myself. Do you have an idea about costing for Heroku, or does it come with a platform, or what is there your point?
Yeah, you have a couple of questions there, Marcus. Thank you for starting that. So first thing, we have an Heroku and MuleSoft work great together. So where MuleSoft is all about integrating and like, you know, orchestrating APIs. What you can have is like, think of Heroku as the compute layer, application compute layer. So in many ways you can have, it can orchestrate to, MuleSoft can be connected to services running on Heroku. And then sometimes if there's like, you know, if the app doesn't have any, you can have those APIs hosted here, and then MuleSoft can still orchestrate them. So we have a number of customers that are using them together very well. So that can be a follow-up depending on the use case you're looking for. And then
one use case to share, and we have it as a blog post and reference application, is hosting all the compute and the logic on Heroku, like an API on a private space, a private instance, so that the API doesn't have access to the external world, and deploying the MuleSoft Anypoint Flex Gateway on Heroku to add that API gateway capabilities over that API. So on any point, you will be able to add policies, to be able to have way more control over that API that you are hosting on Heroku. So you have the compute, as Betty said, on Heroku, and the API management capabilities on the Anypoint platform.
But you cannot develop MuleSoft applications or APIs in Heroku and deploy to MuleSoft, to the MuleSoft platform.
On Cloud Hub, are you thinking about?
We have Cloud Hub 1.0, 2.0, and on-prem servers. But the question is, can you code data with 2 projects in Heroku and deploy this as an API on MuleSoft platform?
Integrated as we mentioned through Flex Gateway, but the MuleSoft application, the applications that you deploy on MuleSoft are very MuleSoft specific. And Heroku work with like open source frameworks, are more open technologies.
Okay.
Yeah, so this will be like it's gonna complement that with a broader set of like languages, frameworks, etc. that you can bring into your architecture.
And by the way, I didn't figure out how you can chat here.
And your other question about licenses and such, there's a, you know, there's Heroku allows for two different ways. You can have a contract with us through sale, it's a Salesforce contract with a set number of credits that you can consume as you go. We also have some of our customers do that plus like kind of like a self-service model. So like sometimes they complement. So it's like, hey, I know, so it kind of depends. We're very flexible in that sense. Sometimes we have, developers that just sign up on their own with the credit card and do things. And then sometimes we have organizations that'll say like, hey, I'd like to get this amount for my team. They can burn them down. If you go over, we just, deal with it later together. But it's it's very fluid to like the needs of the organization.
Okay. Thank you very much for answering my questions.
Thank you, Marcus. Are there any further questions or comments you want to give, something that sparked your thoughts? Okay. I don't see any, and looking at the time as well, maybe it's a good time to wrap it up as well. Basically, we had a look into Salesforce, what Heroku is doing. We had a look at at 2 demos by Julian. And we also looked at some of the references we have there. On the next slide, I'd like to point you to a case study we were doing together with WatchDuty and how they handle the LA files. It was also mentioned before. Feel free to scan the QR code. It's very much how they handle 100% uptime on Heroku. On the next slide, I also want to point you to the Heroku webinar that is coming up. One of our next webinars will focus on how over 14,000 engineers at Salesforce are actually leveraging Heroku and AI to boost their developer productivity. So this is a question we often get, and we want to open our doors and share a bit more what's behind the scenes of Salesforce there. And it's happening in 1.5 months, October 30th. So feel free to scan the QR code there. And with that, I just want to leave it by saying thank you all for joining today, for investing your time, or investing your energy. And we hope that we will see each other again soon. And we are looking forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you all.